I have a couple of clients who like playing the what if game. I have a couple of clients who are on the verge of things changing in their life. One who's a high school senior and not sure where he's going to go to school next year and what's going to happen. What if I stay local? What if I go? What if I go abroad? What if I go to West Point? What if I go to California? And I've got an adult client who is on the verge of a promotion and he's not sure where that's going to land him. So there's implications for that for himself and his family. And one of them, I saw them both today, but one of them came in and was talking about like, well, what if I do this? And like he we're not going into all the details of the what ifs, but he came in to sort of escape that because he goes into all the what ifs with his wife. And I started talking about like, well, what if, he gets a job, and I don't know if this is an option for him, but like I said, what if you get a job in Sacramento or get a job in Detroit or get a job in Boston? Like, okay, they're all options. And then you have to decide, well, what if do we rent the house? Do we sell it? If we do we have to get a realtor? Like, what's the process? What do we do if we're far away? And like all the what ifs. And I certainly remember playing the what if game a lot in my life. And certainly, almost without exception, every single time that the situation, whatever it was, played out, what actually happened was a what if that I hadn't thought about. It was some other permutation of life. And meanwhile, that entire time I was spending all this concern about what if this and what if that and what if this, and if I text this, what's she going to say back? And what if I go to this place, will I miss out on that? And what if this happens? And what if my mom says this? What if my sister does that? There's so much of that experience. And so I turned to him today, and well, before I get to that, I'll say like this what if mind is really, it's a protector. It's part of our ego. It's trying to figure out, if I figure out the situation, if I figure out the landscape, I will be able to prepare myself. I'll be able to put steps into a place now, so I will be safe whenever that situation comes up. I will know, right? It's a trapping of the mind to think that options in front of me, I can plan this all out and then I'll be safe. I'll know the next 6 steps in my process. And inherently, that's really limiting. Right? It doesn't give opportunity for life to flow and for new information to come in. And what happens when you get to step 2 on your 6-step plan and you get new information that you had never even accounted for? Like, oh no, I didn't come up with this what if, or what about this? And now all these other options come up. And really, when I turned to my client, I said, do you trust yourself? And he gave me like a weird look. He's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, do you trust yourself to make the right decisions? And he's like, he thought about it. He's like, sure. I said, do you trust yourself like not to, go out and kill someone? He goes, yes. I said, do you trust yourself not to like steal money out of the cash register at Starbucks when you go there? He goes, yes. I said, so you trust yourself to make an adult appropriate decision for yourself and for your family? He said, yes. I said, great. Then that kind of it takes the what if out from its knees. If you trust yourself to be able to say, I know with whatever information I'm given, I'll make the right decision, or I'll make the best decision I can. I don't really like the phrase the right decision, because I think any decision could be seen as the right one. If you make the best decision you can, given all the information you have, then you take the next step. And then you say, okay, well, with this information, what do I have to do? And you can't plan that far ahead. This one guy is a sports fan. I said, all right, so what play should the Patriots run the 4th play from scrimmage on Sunday? And he gave me a look. I'm like, you don't know what it's going to be. They could be 1st and goal. It could be 3rd and 12. They could be they could have the ball. They could be on defense. They could be in their territory. The ball could be, right by the other team's end zone. Could be anything. No idea of knowing. There's no way to plan the what if of every possible situation from this point. We'll just have to see at that point. You'll see how the game unfolds, and you'll be able to make a decision at that point. You might be able to let down some like guidelines. Okay, I want to kind of, this is the overall chess move that I want to go, but you can't plan every little step. And the what if tries to do that. So the what if mind is really rooted in fear and anxiety, and really is like not trusting. So when you can step back and like, I trust myself to make the right decisions, I don't like that language, to make the best decisions I can in a moment, right? That's all there is. And he's like, but this is one of those like he came back and he said, this is one of the big decisions in life. You just get like maybe a handful of like these giant decisions that really can alter the path of your life. Where you go to college, who you decide to be with, what job you take, like what path you take. These are one of the really, really big decisions. Absolutely. And still the process remains the same. Do you trust yourself to make the best decision you can? Knowing that there isn't a right decision. So if it's one of these big decisions in life, do I have kids? Do I not? Do I go to this career or do I go to that career? No matter what, do I move to Sacramento? I don't know why I was in Sacramento all day, but move to Sacramento or do you stay in Boston? Like either way is fine. You're going to have certain lessons that you learn in either way. You're going to have pros and cons to each of them. There's going to be things that are really easy in Sacramento that are really hard in Boston. There are going to be things that are really easy in Boston that you would totally struggle with in Sacramento. There's going to be that either way. If you're trying to decide which college to go to, there's going to be some really great things if you go to this college, really great things if you go to this one, and really lousy things both ways. That's just the nature of life. You're going to feel the experience, the fullness of the yin yang, whichever decision you make. So you kind of make these decisions of fate with the best information you have, knowing that your path, it could look very different. You could end up, with this person or with that person. And the names and the dates and the details and the specific stories of what's going to happen, that's one level of experience. And that's going to look a certain way. If I had gone to Northwestern and not to Johns Hopkins, that would have set my life into a different motion. And who knows if I'd be sitting here right now talking to you. No way of knowing that. But I would like to believe that the deeper lessons of what I've learned and the way my life has unfolded would be the same. I would be faced with the same sort of deeper lessons of connecting with myself in a deeper way, facing my fears of intimacy, my fears of loneliness. How do I face that? Even if I had never met my wife and I met other people, and that would have forced me to learn these lessons, or would have presented opportunities for me to learn these lessons. So it's not, on the deeper level, it's going to end up being the same. On the surface level, names, dates, places, it's going to be different. And a lot of times we get hung up in the name, dates, places, and that's where the what if zone is, right? What if this and what if that, what if this, that's all up here. But if we step down to the deeper space and say, well, I'm going to get what I need. And the people around me are going to get what they need. And we're going to figure things out together. And I trust myself to make the best decision I can when the information comes up. That's all there is to it. It kind of takes the what if, takes the knees out of the what if mind. So I said, you can use your mind in a way like, okay, if you can set up some basic what ifs. If I go to school here, here's some basic things I'm going to have to consider, but I won't know until I have the more information. Once I make the decision, then I'll have some more information. If I go to this school or this school, if I take this job or this job, and then I can take it the next step. But it's a trapping of the mind when we're stuck with an unknown to try and plan it all out, and the what if really gets us caught. So we come back to just saying, I trust myself now, and I trust myself to make the best decision I can, knowing that there's going to be errors along the way. And even with hindsight, you can say, I shouldn't have made that decision, or I would have done something differently. But if you really step back and say, like, well, even though that happened, I learned all these things from it. Even though maybe I would have done something different when I was 25 than what I did, okay, but I still learned all of these great nuggets from that, which is why I'm able to say I should have made a different decision when I was 25, is because I learned those lessons along the way. And that's something that I take with me. That broadens my experience, my wisdom, my awareness. That's my growth. So I will invite you, if you find yourself getting into that space of what if and how do I do this and what happens if, just come back to like, I trust myself to make the right decisions. And then when I say, I keep coming back to the word right, and again, I'm just really saying like what feels the best in that moment. So thank you so much for your attention tonight. Thank you for stepping in, and have a pleasant evening.